meeting to order. Do roll call. Holly Allgauer, sir. Here.
Karen Schulteis, present.
Jason Hager, present.
Also here, Dan Peterson, Director of Building and Development.
We have a quorum.
Great. We need to approve our September 6th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
That's a voice vote, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Then, next we have new business. We have grant allocations. First is the Hilton Hotel for $31,175.
Do you want to do them individually, or do we have to do them?
I think we need to do them individually.
Do we do?
We
Okay.
could, I mean, we could do
Or
an,
can we do it?
we can do an omnibus vote, but if you wanna do.
Now with cash. Let's-
Oh, you
So
want-
we've always
Okay,
done it
that's fine.
individually before.
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the Hilton grant for $31,175.
I'll second. And that's a roll call.
Yep.
Roll call.
Roll call, Holly Allgauer, sir, aye.
Elmer, aye.
Schulteis, aye.
Hager, aye.
Great. Then the next one is the Crown Plaza for $23,925.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay.
And again, roll call, Allgauer, sir, aye.
Schulteis, aye.
Hager, aye.
Elmer, aye.
You know, and I apologize that I didn't bring this up last time, but do we know what the story is? I should have asked Sherry when she was here.
No, but I know she had a meeting afterwards with
Cameron.
Cameron Gum, so I don't
Because-
think there was no number given, so we couldn't do
Oh,
anything.
she just, and did you see she just sent a financial report
Yes.
to us? Okay, I
Yeah.
did not print it.
Yeah, but my question is that if you look back in the minutes that we approved, we talked about that that everything had to be turned
Yes.
in that time frame, and it's not been happening, so.
For last year or for concurrent
Well,
quarters?
We ended up allocating the money to
Right,
them
I
last year,
remember
even though it wasn't turned in. And then here we are again with no dollar amount, which means to me it probably hasn't been turned in. So
Did they ever turn in though the stuff that we reallocated at the end of last year?
Yeah.
Is that all, that was all cleared?
that's been
Yes.
done.
Okay, so this is like the current quarter?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Holly, that's an issue. I feel like we're being held to the gun to do it.
The one who will know is, because this is as of Friday, they were having a meeting to discuss, because Cameron says, I have a lot of questions, and Sherry was gonna talk to him, so I don't know how that turned out, though.
Okay, because I did answer a couple of his questions after the
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
which were the same questions that we've answered before. So I'm just not sure where that's at. But I told him, I said, you should go talk to Sherry before you leave, because,
But I did ask,
Clarify.
she did not have a number, so I don't know if now there's a number, but that would have to be for the next meeting, we can't do anything.
so this is not on the warrant list today,
This is
correct?
not, there's nothing on the
Okay.
warrant list.
Then I
Who
think
is
that's how it
Cameron?
should be.
Who's Cameron's controller? Do you remember him? Do you know him? I met him a couple times.
Cameron is?
No.
His
Who's
controller or
above
his
him?
regional?
Or who's above Cameron?
Vince.
The
No.
person that was the
What do you
manager
think?
is not there anymore, but.
Vince is the regional guy.
Yeah.
Vince Ziga.
Oh, Vince, yes, he's still,
Let me think.
And then,
Sheila.
Because I thought it was Jazzy was local, then Vince, then Cameron was the financial officer, controller, and then Sheila.
Sheila, yeah.
Was above them.
Sheila was the one I initially spoke with, and she's the one who said Cameron's gonna be your contact, so.
Should we write them a letter? Should we
We
write
did.
out
We
two?
did that last
We
year.
did do that.
Remember when we were trying to true up everything?
Yeah.
Sherry had sent them everything.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Because here we are, we're getting, yeah, another ending year.
Karen, can you make a note to tell Sherry that, please?
But I think the letter should go to Sheila.
But it should come from Sherry, I
Correct.
think.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it can go to Cameron, but a copy should go to Sheila, just so she understands. And I think the letter should be like, you're leaving money on the table. Sheila will jump all over that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you could be tapping into financial funds.
Right,
That's a huge red flag.
right,
I feel like that will go somewhere.
hopefully.
It's-
All right. We do need to vote. We did talk about it, that Cameron would become part of the board. at the meeting, so we just need to do a vote on that since we now have a quorum.
Mhm.
So that's a voice vote, right?
Let's give it his full name and,
I don't know his
Cameron
last name.
Gaba,
GABA.
Gaba?
G-A-B-A,
Okay.
yes.
for the record, for the TV, Cameron Gaba,
Mhm.
spelled G-A-B-A,
Yes,
and he will be
With the Ramada
representing
in.
with the Ramada Inn.
Mhm.
Ramada,
And he will be joining the tourism board.
okay.
So you need a motion?
Yes,
I'll make a motion to approve Cameron Gaba as representative of the Ramada Inn to join the tourism board.
I will second that.
and that's a voice vote.
And is that as of a date? Do we have like, does it have to start in January or at the new fiscal year?
Well, we're going,
It starts in
it's
March.
on, it's actually on the city council
Okay,
agenda to be voted on too, there's, you know, to formalize it, but it's, yes, then he is on,
but like officially as of what date? Like for voting and things like that?
as soon as, I think as soon as we
Okay.
vote and the council votes.
So it's immediate?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
got it, all right.
But for our purposes, our next meeting is until
We should
March,
take-
unless we do a special meeting, which we may be doing.
We should take an individual vote, anytime you're
Okay.
dealing with more than sweeping the floor. You know, go that way, and especially with money. Everyone approving it.
Okay, so Algauer, sir, aye.
Jason?
All right.
Jason Hager, aye?
Schulteis, aye.
All right.
I know there had been a question that was asked, and just, we can't really do anything by now, but if there, because Holiday and Express, but right now we cannot have them in because the ordinance doesn't allow another member, but I don't know if at some point that ordinance you'd want.
Say that again, we can't.
So Holiday and Express is not on our board, but because our ordinance says how many members we can have, and it doesn't include, so we would have to change, that ordinance would have to be changed by the city council to add Holiday and
I had
Express.
asked the question on Friday, and I think more so because originally we didn't have as many active
That's
members.
what I was figuring.
And if Heather is gonna start coming, or, Sarah,
Heather Sindorsky,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
And Sarah Ober.
and Sarah, yeah. If they're gonna start coming and being a part of it, I think they should have
I agree with that.
a voice, but that's something we can go down the road, because they weren't here on Friday, so we can
Okay.
kind of see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree with
She, I
that.
mean, she had let me know that she was not available, but I
Right.
think they will be in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So next was, talking about the street light installation on Winkleman Road. And so just
Oh, to the
to,
calendar, too.
oh, I was just going in order on the
Oh, oh.
agenda.
Oh, this is the new agenda, sorry.
Oh,
That's okay.
I'm looking at the old one, I apologize. No. Okay, so we'll do, I have it here, I apologize. So we'll do, a motion to approve the 2020 calendar.
Motion to approve the calendar,
Second,
Okay.
a location to stay the same.
Yes.
yeah.
Location and time to say the same.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. And then, okay, so now going on to the
Yes.
street lighting in the tourism district. So what was discussed on Friday, just to kind of cut to the chase on that, let me just get it in front of me so I can tell you the exact numbers. So what we talked about was, basically where it's at is, these numbers are just rough numbers as of now. The city came up with the numbers. I don't know if you saw that memo. Remember, I sent you a picture of it?
to me, I saw it right here.
And so, what Mark and I had, discussed was, what I would like, suggest that we do is go forward with doing the, plans and the bids, which would be, around $15,000 as the initial cost in order to do that. One of the things that came up in the meeting on Friday, some of the feedback from the council, because I guess this had already gone in front of the council once, was, is there any other allocations needed, for future projects and any other projects that we had on the docket, which no one was really aware of anything at the moment, except possibly the banners, which we can talk about that later. But then, and then another person brought up that if we're gonna do it on Winkleman, there's a dark area on Apple Drive that could, benefit from having some lighting put there, which I thought, well, if they need it, then we should
Correct.
do it. So that was kind of the talk of that, and Karen, correct me if I'm missing anything else, I don't remember everything. But that was essentially it. But so we had talked about wanting to move forward with the $15,000 so that we could look at doing some plans and getting some bids.
And it was 15,000 per light pole, that's what they were.
Right, but he was saying the initial cost would be around 15,000
to
for
start
the, to get the plans and get the bids going. And that's a rough number, that's not a concrete number.
For the bids.
Yeah.
So I have two questions on this. So the 125 that we're projecting for this project, what is our number right now? Do you know our surplus, or what do we have in the fund?
We already, right now, I believe Sherry had said something that we had 100 and something
118,000, she said?
that was gonna roll over
Okay,
that we haven't used.
okay.
And that's not to say for anything for next year's budget.
So that is just unused funds. So
Correct.
technically, we've got it covered with what we used.
Almost. Well, it's almost covered for our 7 poles, but then they were saying that Apple Drive would possibly need 5. And so and Mark's estimation, again, rough numbers, is they're saying about 15,000 per pole.
Okay, so then my next question, I have two questions. One was the surplus we have, and then my second question is, and this is kind of a careful question, why would tourism pay for that? Why wouldn't the city pay for a need for street lighting? And let me clarify that. I understand the decorative piece on kind of what we're talking about, but where does the tourism line cross the city line on need for lighting versus decorative lighting front accent type of a thing? That was the only question that came up as I was reading this. And is there how does the city fund lighting?
But I
For
think
normal
the
street.
tourism area has boundaries, and that was gonna be one thing I wanna find out, how deep into Apple Drive are we responsible for, or someone thinks we're responsible for. Maybe we're only responsible for 2 lines,
Right.
if they need 5.
They didn't specify exactly, they said it was like a curve area. And Dan, I don't know if you're familiar with that
Mark,
spot.
I had been in a discussion, but I haven't seen a map of where
Okay.
they're exactly identifying them at, so I
Right.
can't answer.
And so one of the things that Mark did address when we talked about it on Friday was that, obviously both the Crown Plaza and the Hilton have lighting in their parking lots, but none of that feeds over into the street area. And so that's one of the needs, is that it's a very, very dark road.
Right.
And so that's where that came in. That, I just want to make sure I address that did come up in conversation.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I think we're really careful in our tourism dollars, making sure that our tourism dollars are working on tourism and driving occupancy. And so to me, I understand the need to light near the hotels. I will tell you, I drive a lot early in the morning. I'm always coming to the hotel from Green Bay at like 3 in the morning. I get to Crown Plaza at 6:30. There are people walking down the middle of Milwaukee Avenue all the time. It kills me, the amount of people walking down the middle of
There are
Milwaukee Avenue.
employees
And
usually.
they're heading to our hotels. And so I feel like the lighting by the hotels is important for safety and important also for guest safety and things like that. So I understand all of that. When I saw this, 2 things stood out to me. One was, this is a little more expensive than I expected. I didn't expect it to be $125,000. And then the second thing is the Apple Drive location. Holly tipped me off because I was, not tipped me off, filled me in because I was not at the meeting. I agree with the need, but I want to know where the lines are between city need and tourism need. Because to me, Apple Drive does not serve a destination or occupancy purpose. I don't think.
Well,
Unless it's tied to the hotel.
So the Holiday Inn Express
Is that part of that?
entrance is Apple
Okay,
Drive, so there
that's
is
what I
that,
know.
but I don't know, and I don't have the answer whether that's well lit right there or not,
See, I
or
don't
like,
know.
to Mayor's point, how far back
Right.
it goes, because it is kind of a long
Yeah.
road that winds in there.
We do have a responsibility because of the Holiday Inn, how much.
How deep?
Right.
Sure, sure.
Right.
And
Yeah.
And it may be, I think to your point, you're wondering 2, 3 versus 5,
Exactly.
And you're exactly right. That's kind of, I don't disagree with this concept and this process at all, because I was one of the pioneers that helped push this. I was just shocked at the cost a little bit, and then as it started to evolve, I was kinda like, okay, might be a little more than we were thinking. I have no problem approving the 15,000 to get things going and to get the plans going and have discussions. I just think we need to clarify a little more on what do we really want, like, what are we really getting, what do we really want, and what does Apple Drive need? I don't wanna be a stickler on it, cause I think it can help all of us.
Well, I think for today's purpose, we need to approve the 15,000 so that we can move forward with that process.
Yep.
And then I think that'll give us a more defined look of what we're talking about for the Winkleman area as well as the Apple Drive area.
What I think is part of the direction would be helpful to Mark, and I'll relay that and also to the engineer, is you want to clarify where the tourism
Yes.
district ends and how is this are the proposed Apple within that zone?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
As part of the, and as the part of the design and engineering side.
Yeah, well, at what point on Apple
Yep.
is it? Because
Okay.
if it's, a mile in, or it's not that long, but if it's a
Yeah.
good half a mile in, that, I would say that's not really
Okay.
in the tourism district per se.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But I have no problem approving the original 15,000 to get things kicked off and working. And then I have the one side comment is, I do think we need to think about that little Milwaukee Avenue stretch at some point. I'm not saying it's tied to this project, but I'm worried, with the traffic for Allstate, no streetlights, employees walking down the middle of the road. And this summer, I don't know if we noticed, but there was no lawn cutting done this summer at all. I know Mark petitioned the county to cut on either side of the,
they did.
maybe once, not as
Yeah.
often as it was last
No,
year.
it wasn't as often as they should.
I'm worried about the city having something serious happen over there sometime. Obviously, we're on the corners, we see it all the time. Something's gonna happen there. We need to be
Well, I
thinking about
know, so I know back when we first did the original, repair work, if you will, on Winkleman, and that was all state done, that wasn't really city, if I'm not mistaken. There was
The road itself.
the road itself, like the
goes back
first
to
time,
the Forest Preserve. Where the Forest Preserve starts in UN,
right,
that's our section. From there on, actually Northfield, someone else, but
I
remember
thought,
we talked to that guy.
not this last time of the resurfacing, but the time before,
Okay,
I seem to remember that it was state, because that's when they were putting in the curbs
that.
and things. And the reason I bring this up is because I know there was talk at the time of putting a stoplight there, which I think would be huge. Because I do think that middle part, the backup for people turning in the morning, and then,
Yeah.
it's really backed up.
It
And
is.
so I don't know, but I don't know that that's a village thing. I don't know if that's something that we can
that
handle.
section there is definitely a county.
Yeah,
The county commissioner, I've known each other for a lot of years. First thing he did was call me and say, guess what? We, county, are trying to get into the Sanders, Winkleman area.
that was fabulous.
But
Yeah, it is.
it's only temporary.
Yeah, I know, I saw it, but it's still good, it's still.
But
It's
better than
A
the road.
million times
Yeah,
better than
it's
it
way
was.
nicer than it was.
Right.
I just don't want us to have, and I'm not saying that we have to do anything about it, or that the city has to do anything about it, I'm just saying that that needs to be on our radars.
Right.
I'm worried something's gonna happen, and I don't want that, I don't think any of us would want that.
Well, Karen, let's talk to our chief. Remind me, and you can be part of it because you're on this group here. Maybe that's the time we ought to patrol. What we really need is sidewalks.
Or if we're pulling power for streetlights, maybe we pull power and not put the lights up, but pull power, I don't know, maybe it makes sense to pull some power put a potential stoplight in a year from now, but we pull the power, I don't know how that works.
Or the other thing that I would think, and I have no idea what this costs, so I don't know if it's cost prohibitive or not, but maybe there's a conversation to be having with Allstate they have that cop down at Sanders and
Yes.
Winkleman, maybe there needs to be one during the traffic period times, in the morning and in the evening there, because the turning, and when we've talked about the traffic through your parking
Yeah.
lot and everything else,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which, by the way, do they pay for that? Does Allstate
Yeah.
pay for that?
Yeah.
Why would they wanna put lights up? I don't understand. They gotta pay an arm and a leg for that guy.
There's a couple issues. Number one, the county is not in a position to want to put a light in on a road that hasn't been approved yet or hasn't been planned, and they are in the development.
Okay.
The hard part with Milwaukee is because that is an IDOT road, and the process to get a light through IDOT.
I remember hearing that,
It's
yeah.
worth, I think it would be worth a discussion, but I don't know how receptive they
Sure.
would be.
Sure.
So because it's an IDOT road, is that something that then because it says state troopers, I don't know if there really are state troopers, but whoever the policing that is at Winkleman and Sanders, they couldn't be on
Well, the
Milwaukee there?
Winkleman and Sanders is county, and on that side,
Right.
plus, the state, it can go anywhere. But Milwaukee, it's us, it's county, it's state.
It's a gray area is what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay,
Well,
But in terms of getting infrastructure there, there's a very specific process that would have to be followed.
well, I'm just thinking, and seeing that sounds like a very long-term process, I was thinking of maybe a more quicker,
Easier. yeah.
easier process
Yeah.
of putting a body there versus actual structure. I don't know, just a thought, but we're totally getting off topic.
Yeah, no,
So,
I agree. I just wanted to-
But I think it's something that we should, if we can put that on
Next.
our next agenda, I think we should
I agree.
explore that more.
And my purpose of bringing it up in this conversation, Holly, was because if there needs to be power pulled to a light potentially for a year from now, and it's cheaper to do it now when we're pulling power for the streetlights, let's
Right.
talk about that.
And the other thing too, it's just talk at this point. I haven't heard anything definitive, but there's big talk about changes happening with Allstate. And if they move out, that's gonna change things a lot
I
too,
heard
so,
that this week.
yeah. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I did.
With regard to IDOT or Connie or anybody, you as customers in the area supporting their area by taxes or whatever, I think should have every week put a letter and copy us here at the city. And I don't know who's going to be seeing now when you say Milwaukee, you're talking about Milwaukee and Milwaukee down the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know what cop or what nut is going to stand out in the middle of the road and try to do something about it. If we don't get sidewalks over there,
I know. It's weird. They must be housekeepers going to both our hotels. I know some of them are mine. Some
I know some
people,
of them are mine, because
some
I picked
people-
them up.
but yeah,
Few
some people
times.
bike. I have bikes down the middle of the road, and this is early. I'm here by 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's like 5:30. There's people trumping through, and I'm like, somebody's gonna get hit.
You have dedicated employees.
I know, and that's awesome, but someone's gonna get nailed in the middle of Milwaukee, and I don't wanna be part of that.
but if you send the letters out, start with me, send it to me, I'll go to them. Maybe we need a bike path.
And we tried to cut that lawn down to help that, but I don't, like I said, I
Yeah,
don't think it
they will
happens as
not
much.
do
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
with the law. They say they will.
but they don't,
If they come out every 20 calls, half a call,
yeah.
they don't do it.
They even purchased, the county or state, whoever it was, purchased part of our land on that corner just to put that curb in.
Right.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I just feel like we're a little landlocked where we are,
Yeah.
because nobody really can go anywhere. If they cross the street to go to the bike path, they gotta cross Milwaukee Avenue, that's kinda scary, nobody wants to do that.
Right.
If they wanna go up to Rocky Meanders, even if they wanna go to Holly's, they gotta cross. We're not pedestrian friendly, and our employees on Milwaukee, I do worry about that. So, okay, well, we can talk about it on the next
All
one.
right.
I just wanted to make a plug for it, so.
So if we can get a motion to move forward with let's say not to exceed $15,000
So a motion to direct Public Works,
Mhm.
Public Works
To begin,
to move forward
With the
With-
plans and bidding.
With
Process.
preparing plans and bid docs for the Winkleman Light Project,
or
or the Tourism District Light Project.
Yeah.
Let's just put it.
yeah, in
Let's
case
Let's be careful how we do
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
project
Yeah, very right.
not to exceed 15,000.
Yes. not to
Yes.
exceed 15,000. Timeline to be complete by, do you wanna put a timeline on it?
I don't know that we can just yet, because Mark seen, there's still a lot of preliminary things.
Okay.
What'll happen now that he has directions started, we'll have K-Walt initiate a contract supplemental contract with us.
Got
That'll
it.
get ratified with council, then work can start.
Got it,
And then
Okay, so
we,
a
and
motion?
shortly after that point, we'll ask for a timeline.
Right,
got it, okay.
okay,
All
so
right.
a motion to approve,
Second, oh, you,
Yeah, and
okay,
second.
I'll make a motion on
And
the
then,
second.
you want to do a roll call?
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
roll call,
Hager, aye.
Algauer, sir, aye.
Elmer, aye.
Schulteis, aye.
All right. Dan, do you have anything, since we missed you?
Oh, just,
It's okay, you were amongst others that didn't join us on Friday.
and mine was scheduled off the.
I sent an email a day before, I wasn't making it.
No, you didn't.
I know I did. I know, Ollie was like, mayor's not here, I was like, oh crap.
No, just, quick update on the River Trails condo rebuild. The developer or the builder, Minor East, is targeting a Christmas completion of building 16 with an early January occupancy of that
Yeah.
first building, and then monthly after that, so hopefully everyone will be relocated back into their units by the 1st of April.
Wow.
Awesome. When you say first unit, is that the one
The-
over here?
They,
Like,
there's basically the outside building on the south, which they call building 16, then the 15, 14, and then the first one that didn't get torn down.
yeah,
That one's been occupied since the 1st of August. Building 13, the one that didn't have to be torn
so
down.
14 was the one that was partial, right? Or was that all?
No, picture.
I'm trying to picture because I
Okay.
have 2 employees that
Okay.
live there and I'm just trying to see
Okay.
when they go back,
Let's say that the dais is Milwaukee.
right?
Okay, you're sitting at what would be building 16.
Okay,
This would be building 15, this is 14, and 13 came out this way, that's the one that didn't have to get taken down.
okay,
So they're starting from your side and coming this way, so the outside building, which we call building 16, is first, then building 15, then building 14, in that order
okay,
of construction, just because they could get started faster on
Sure.
the outside. So the whole target is to have everyone back in by April 1.
good, that's great.
Dan, has there been any discussion by FEMA on the flood maps? Have we heard anything more on that?
The last update we got is the IDNR and Army Corps of Engineer and IDOT have agreed to a plan
Okay.
on how to fix it. It is bid documents for those have been prepared. They're hopefully letting the bid over this winter with construction next year. Once the construction on those 2 little sluice gates, for lack of a better term, are done, then FEMA will review and update. So,
So we're a year out,
at least,
okay.
okay, because, but the good news is IDOT, IDNR took full responsibility as the project the lead agency. They've got their construction documents agreed to with the Army Corps of Engineers, so it's being moved. And I
Okay.
think there's funding for it as well.
Good,
Good.
That's what we've been told so
it's
far.
about time, right?
Yeah, that's good.
It's just time.
No, but at least we got some timeline, so, okay.
No, and we'll update you if we get any new news.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Anything else, anyone?
On the record, no.
No? All right,
Nothing
motion to adjourn then?
So moved?
Second.
Voice vote, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?